Welcome to I Say Yes and with Alycia Larson, the podcast where we dive into all things spiritual and watch as we grow as humans and expand as the powerful spiritual beings we know we are. Let's dive in. Today I'm going to record this episode and it's going to be a little bit different. So first I want to thank you so much for being here. This podcast is going to change the world in so many beautiful ways. And one of those ways is by just leaning into listening to the messages that we're receiving in the moments. Now, oftentimes when I record an episode, I sit down, I meditate a little bit, and I connect with spirit, and I ask what topic should we talk about, and then I kind of create some bullet points. Today we are riffing it completely free, and I'm interested to see how this podcast feels at the end of the episode. But I'm also excited because there's something beautiful about being able to just lean in and say, I'm here as your vessel. Speak through me. And that's exactly what I am doing right now. I am saying to Spirit, Spirit, I am your vessel. What message needs to come out into the world through my podcast right here, right now? And the message that I'm clearly hearing is allow yourself to be and receive. So allow yourself to be in the space that you're at right here, right now. And know that you don't have to do something to make you worthy enough to receive something in return. Now, this can be so many things. If you're wanting like a promotion at work, know that you can receive that, and things don't have to make sense. One of my favorite things about stepping into this spiritual space and creating connections with my guides and the angels that are supporting me and spirit and just really playing in this world is that my life gets to not make sense to other people or myself, but it gets to be more beautiful than I can even fathom it. And I get to receive these little nuggets of blessings all the time. I recently went to San Francisco. Now, San Francisco is a place that my mother loved. She loved the Golden Gate Bridge specifically. Now, she believed, I believe down to the core of who she was, that the Golden Gate Bridge was built for her. And I agree with her, and I'll tell you why. She was so connected to it. Like I'm saying, in so many movies, they use the Golden Gate Bridge as a visual for when aliens or enemies are attacking U.S. soil, and they destroy it. And my mother took it physically personal. She would get super upset, and she wouldn't whatever movie that was or TV show. She didn't care for it from that point on. You offended her. How dare you mess with her bridge? And she would always say, why do they have to go after my bridge? Why do they have to? And she'd take it so personally. And, I was recently at the Golden Gate Bridge. I had a sandwich with me, and I went down there, and I sat down there for a very long time. And I just connected with my mom while I was sitting there, and it was just this beautiful time, and I felt it, and I was like, oh, we have lineage here. That's why she felt so bonded here. There is a piece of her soul that was here. Whether it makes sense to anybody else, I have no clue what year the Golden Gate Bridge was built. I probably should know that since I spent so much time there that day. But what I do know is that there was a part of her, and something that I've recently understood is oftentimes our soul will travel to places throughout the world, even if we've never physically been there. that brings us peace when we're needing it, when we're calling in peace. And I believe that my mom, her soul would go to the Golden Gate Bridge when she needed that peace, and also when she needed to feel that power. Because what a beautiful, magnificent bridge that it is. It's strong and it's sturdy, and thousands of people travel it every week, and it's beautiful, and the view is beautiful, and so I think that's why like there was a part of her that her soul was connected to that space. And I felt it when I was there, and I actually messaged a couple of my friends, and I said, like, there's power in this space. There is a connection that I have in this space, and this space is of healing. And I'm going to be offering retreats in the San Francisco area because I felt such a bond and such a connection to it. And I think that's beautiful. And when I went to San Francisco, I fully expected that it was going to be this emotional trip, and I was just going to seep back into that like heavy grief feeling. And what I felt was peace. What I felt was calm. I wore my mother's wedding rings, and I felt connected to her so beautifully. And I also felt connected to all of the guides and spirits and my ancestors that are right here supporting me through this life. And so I want to just take a moment to allow you to experience what your location of peace may be for today. And this location can change daily. I mean, it could probably change hourly if you checked in to check. And all you need to do is to see where your peace needs to feel, or where your soul needs to feel the peace. Is you can just take a deep breath, and you can repeat after me and say, soul, take me to the place where I feel the most peace ever for today. And see where you start to go. And right now I'm actually in a spot of a desert. I'm just seeing sand. But I feel so calm here. There's like a big hill. I know I've felt this before, and I saw the pyramids, and I've done this other times and felt Sedona, and I've seen like a Lake Tahoe type of a view, or like a river. It changes to whatever your soul is wanting in that moment, and that's something beautiful, and that's something that we can tap into anytime. But if you're ever tapping into it, I do ask that you just kind of acknowledge what the scenery is. What is the location? Because that may be a spot that your soul is calling for you to explore that area. And if you lean into that exploration, then who knows what doors will open. And so that's just my message for today, is to lean in and see what transpires for you. Lean in and allow your soul to go where it needs to go to feel peace. And then acknowledge where that place is. And if you want to keep track of it in like your phone notes or in a notebook, and then see what calls for you to go there for your next trip and journey. You might be surprised. Places that you never really humanly thought of going may pop up. Or I know a friend that did this, and she like clearly was on a different galaxy. And like, that's cool. Like, tell me more about that space. Let's go there. So I'm gonna leave you with that. But this was just like a fun little riff of an episode but it also is opening you up to leaning into yes, and then what? Because that's really what the full statement is. I say yes, and is all about receiving what's coming next and saying yes to that next upgrade and saying yes to that next activation and saying yes to the power that you already possess within yourself, because you are the magical being and you haven't always acknowledged it. You haven't always ignored it though, and I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge when you have been in your power and you have felt it and you have allowed yourself that space. But we haven't always allowed ourselves to acknowledge that. And I'm saying this for myself also. I have allowed myself to sit in a space of lack and what if, and I've allowed myself to sit in a space of nobody will understand my power, so I'm just going to keep that to myself. And the spirit world is saying that is no longer the time. The time is for you to get out there and share what we're sharing with you and share your power and be of service to people, because that is what this world is all about. Being of service of each other so that we can upgrade and level up and expand into the beautiful world that we can be if we choose to allow that to happen. And many people may choose no, but we get to say yes and see what happens. I'll see you in the next episode. I love you so much. Bye. Are you wanting help to move from a place of heaviness, stress, and anxiety, and you want to step into a place of love, ease, and flow? The time is now to reach out for a one-on-one healing session with me. This offer is only for those who listen to my podcast. Use coupon code PODCAST824 and receive 30% off the price of one 30-minute healing session with me. Offer only good until August 31st, 2024. Link and code will be in the show notes. I look forward to our session. Thank you for joining me on this episode of I Say Yes and with Alycia Larson. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to embrace your inner power and manifest the life you desire. Remember, the journey to self-discovery and empowerment is ongoing, and I'm here with you every step of the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us reach more souls ready to say yes to their own potential. Don't forget to follow me on social media for more insights, inspiration, and updates on upcoming episodes. Together, we can create a community of empowered individuals living their dream lives. Until next time, keep saying yes to yourself, yes to your dreams, and yes to the power within you. Stay magical and keep shining your light.